I know exactly what you're looking for. It's very similar to what everybody else is looking for, but yours is different because you have to go a different route. And I know exactly what you're looking for. And it's not math. Yes, you come here and you get entertained with my personality and my math skills as best as they can. But ultimately, you're looking for something bigger and better. That's what keeps you coming back. There is something that's standing in the way of you getting what you want, and it's not math, is what you want. What you want is to get your GED, get your high school diploma. What you want is to score high enough on the ASVAB so you can have a better career. What you want is to be able to do well in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. What you want is to score high on the Accuplacer so you don't have to waste time on basic math skills so you can go straight to college algebra. What you want is to basically feel free of that math trauma. Overall, what you want is freedom. That's what you want. Hey, Janice. You want your personal freedom. Now, what your definition of freedom is going to be completely different from everybody else's. But right now, you can get your freedom, your definition of freedom, which is a better job, a better career, a better process or way legally to get money in order for you to do what you want. Maybe it's vacations. Maybe it's just time away and you don't have to stress about paying bills because as soon as you get your money, it is already gone. My freedom is a little different from yours. I want to build not only a business, but I want to build something that people are going to love and appreciate. Even if it's just a small moment in their lives, that's what I want to build. And most of it is not for my selfish reason. It's for you. You. Because I understand the concepts to the stuff that is stopping you from getting your freedom, that's why you come back. And this is why sometimes I feel like a lot of people want to say it to me, but they're afraid to. Don't. I know we're scared because facing the fact that you're going to have to do a lot of work in order to achieve that goal, it's scary. You're in a surrounding. Hey, Audrey, you're not in the same boat as me, so you have no idea what I'm going through. Here's the thing. You don't know where I was raised from. You only know what I display here on TikTok. So you can't tell me what I am. I have a good idea who you are and what you want to achieve because you share that with me. I'm not a mind reader, but I definitely know that I care enough that in order for me, when I was a kid, I sucked at math. And now look at me. I'm a math teacher. I have a master's degree. And I've been teaching in the classroom for 22 years. And I am just about to finish my 6th year of being an online math tutor. And not just in my state, throughout the US and Nairobi, Kenya, and Cairo, Egypt. And do the things that I love to do, which is break concepts down step by step. And a lot of you guys need that. You yearn for that. And you can't get everything from a video. You can get guidance. But then when you get stuck, you need that reassurance. And that's why I do the things that I do for my books, Algebra at Your Pace. It's a 10-book series, and it goes through everything. It has a video recording of me breaking down concepts so now you can learn it at your pace. Not for someone else's pace, not for, oh, the class is going to end in 12 weeks type pace, at your pace. You know that you want to take a class, and you know you want to take it in the fall. but you know you haven't seen math like this in a long time. So give yourself grace. Give yourself space and change that mindset. Just because someone years ago said to you that math is not your thing. Because math is not my thing. So, it's hereditary. It's not hereditary. You can break that cycle. Do I say that you need to be a genius? No. Do you need to know enough in order to pass the test, in order to do for what you want to do? Yes. So, as you guys are here, I'm speaking to you. That one that's scared, that's overwhelmed. Do I have to start from the very beginning? A lot of those questions jump at you every time you come on this live. And you wonder, is Audrey really the person that can help me? And the only way you can find that out is to dive in. That's it. If you want fluff, you're going to go somewhere else. Because I'm going to tell you, truthfully, if I feel once you share something with me and you're like, I don't think I can do it, well, then you're not going to do it, regardless of what material is given to you. But if you believe that you can do it and you just need the right person to give you a little push, give you some guidance, and be able to help you, then this is the life for you. Now, if you're new, my name is Audrey Codner, and I'm the owner of Math by Audrey and ACG Math Tutoring. And as I said, I played 22 years of teaching high school math. And I was usually the teacher that, I can't deal with this kid. I was the one that says, give him to me. And I was the one that shocked a lot of teachers that says, I don't think this child can learn this. And by the end of the year, they're like, is that the same kid? I'm not saying that I do miracles. I just see people's greatness and I try to pull it out and say, look, it's not your fault that you don't understand multiplication because you probably weren't in school at the time that they were doing it. And then you figured, I got a calculator. I don't need it anymore. But now you're in the situation that you want to advance in your life. And the only thing that's stopping you is a math test. So I'm here to help break concepts down, to show you how my system can help you. And all you have to do is take it step by step. You don't have to take on the whole entire system. Just take things step by step. And I'm going to show you a little bit later where you can get a free skills assessment to see where you are. Because some of you guys think I got to start from the very beginning and come to realization you don't. So I'll show you that in a few. All right. So what we're going to do today is one of the things that a lot of people screw up on. It's actually two different concepts, but I'm going to try to show you the similarities so you'll be able to adopt it. All right. So let's get started. So when you see real-time interaction during live. I know there's real-time interaction during live. I don't know. There's times I just have to give it up to God. All right, graphing. Now, hello, Onyx. Hey, MJ. So when you're taking a look, when I say the word graphing, how do you feel about that? Okay? If you feel good, put a thumbs up. If you don't like it, put a thumbs down. If you're in the middle, just say meh. M-E-H. Oh, thanks, John. How are you guys? All right. So Will, hello, Will, saying thumbs up. Okay, Darlene saying meh. Thank you. Good. You can do a chart. Okay, John, got you. Meh with MJ. All right. Meh with M. Okay. Adrienne is saying jellyfish jam. Meh. All right, thumbs down, Ramona. Okay, got you. Okay, 2 more people. Let's see what you're doing. All right, couple more. Thank you for joining in. So we're going to be looking at graphing. All right, thanks so much for the follow. Okay, plotting points. Okay, we can plot some points. All right. So there is multiple ways that we can do graphing. We're going to be graphing an equation. And what we're going to graph is what's called a linear equation. It is going to give us a straight line. And the reason why I know it's a linear equation, because if I look at the equation itself, I have x's and I have y's involved. Now, for the line or the number line that's going from left to right, that is your x-axis. For the line that's going up and down, that is your y-axis. So all a graph is two number lines intersecting at a common point, which is called your origin, your 0, 0. Would I recommend hiring a tutor for taking the ASVAB? Now, Sauce, it's going to depend on you. Now, I'm going to explain in a moment why. Okay? I'm going to explain in a moment why. Because it all depends on who you are. So I'm going to make myself a little note, and after I'm done with this one, I'm going to answer your question. Okay? So Sauce, don't leave. Now, we can solve this one of two ways, or three actually. Okay? One of them, we can get a table of values, which is your XY table, or we can use your intercepts, which is your X and your Y intercepts, or we can put it as a Y equals. Alright, so one of them I like to use is using your intercepts. So you have your x-intercept, which is when your y value is 0. And then you have your y-intercept, where your x value is 0. So what you're going to do to find your intercepts, you're going to plug in. I'm going to try to find the x-intercept, like where is it going to cross on the x-axis. The best way to do that is substitute the 0 in for the y of the original equation. So it's going to look like this. So we have 3x minus 2 times 0 equals 10. Anything times 0 is going to be 0. So what's left is your 3x is equal to 10. Then you're going to divide both sides by 3. So our x is going to be 10 over 3. Okay? So it's like 3 and 3.333333, if I'm not mistaken. So, coming up with 3.3 repeating. So your x-axis, or your x-intercept, is going to be 3.3 repeating, comma 0. Now, if I want to find my y-intercept, I'm going to plug a 0 for the x's. So that's when we got 3 times 0 minus 2 times y equals 10. Anything times 0 is going to be 0. So that's why I have a negative 2y equals 10. Now, why is it negative? Because there was a minus sign in the original equation. This minus sign acts as a negative for the 2. Not the 3, the 2. So after we got rid of the 3x by substituting the 0, that minus sign is attached to the 2 to make it negative. This is an area that I want to say about 87, maybe 88% of students always get wrong. Okay? There you go, Anti. Thank you. So now I need to divide both sides not by 2, but by a negative 2. So 10 divided by negative 2, that gives us a negative 5. All right. Okay. So that means your y-intercept is 0, negative 5. Okay. Now, if I tried to graph this, doing the y-intercept is not that bad. Because 0, negative 5, boom. I'm starting here at the origin, and I'm going down to negative 5 to put that first point. But my problem is the x-intercept. I've rounded. Hey, General. I rounded to 3.3. Where would I put 3.3? Okay? I know it's going to be between 3 and 4. I got that. It's going to be leaning more towards the 3. But it's really hard for me to basically plot that as a point. And it's basically doing what's called guesstimating. So using my intercepts could be useful. But one that is going to be helpful and really hold you down is going to be changing from standard form to what's called slope-intercept form. So we didn't do all this out of spite, but if we need to be accurate and if we want to do things a lot quicker, because remember, timing is going to be the key, we can exchange this from standard form to slope-intercept form. Now, slope-intercept form is simply this: y equals mx plus b. Okay, y equals mx plus b. So what we're trying to do is to solve this equation for y. Okay, so I'm going to push this to the bottom so I can get a little more room, and I'm going to rewrite it. Okay, so we have 3x minus 2y is equal to 10. So if I want to solve this equation for y, that means I need to move the 3x over to the other side. How am I moving the 3x over to the other side? I'm going to not add it, but subtract it. Okay? This minus sign is attached to the 2, not the 3. So we're actually looking at a positive 3. We're subtracting it. So a positive 3 minus 3, that gives me 0. So what comes down is my negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 10. And you're probably saying, well, Audrey, couldn't I just say 10 minus 3x? Yes, you can say that. But since I really wanted to replicate my y equals mx plus b, I tried to put the x right where it's at. So now in this case, I'm going to get rid of my negative 2. And how I do that is I divide everything by negative 2. Because when I divide everything by the negative 2, the goal is to get y by itself. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 gives me a 1, and the 1 with the y is understood because physically there's one y there. Now, this is the part that freaks about a lot of you. A negative divided by a negative will give me positive. 3 divided by 2, do not make it into a decimal, especially if you are graphing. The reason why, that's your slope. your slope is always going to be the coefficient of your x. And slope, as we know it, is rise over run. Okay? So now we have our positive 10 divided by negative 2. Well, that gives us our negative 5. And what this is your y-intercept. And your y-intercept is also known as your starting point. Everybody wants to know, where do I start? You start at the constant. This is where you start on the y-axis. Okay, that's being shown. No, the original equation is right here. All right. Okay. So now, this is the original equation. So now what we have here is your equation of the line. Anytime they ask for the equation of the line, they want you to put it in this slope-intercept form. So now, let's see if we can break that up a little bit. We're going to graph this. You're so welcome. We're going to graph this. So we're going to go back to our equation. So what I'm going to do to make it easier, because I hate like going up, down, up, down, up, down, you know, unless I'm exercising. So I'm going to rewrite, so we have 3 over 2x minus 5. Okay. So now, in order for you to graph, this is what needs to happen. Where are we going to start? We're going to always start at the constant, the one that does not have an x or y next to it. This is where you're going to plot your first point on the y-axis, not the x-axis, the y-axis. So here we are at negative 5. We're putting our first point right here. That's your starting point. This is your home. Okay? So if you could start at the origin and then you're going down to negative 5, boom, you're putting your first point. Now, we're looking at the slope. The slope is like giving you direction. So like if someone's saying, this is your house and we're going to go to someone else's house because they're having a barbecue. You cannot walk inside of people's homes to get to the barbecue. I don't know where you live, but where I live, that's how you get shot. All right? We're not doing that. So we're starting and we're going so many city blocks. This is your rise. Your rise is either going up or down. This is your run. Your run is either going left or right. So since it's a positive 3, we're going to go up 3. Not from the origin, but from the negative 5. Right, John? So we're going to go up 3 from that first point. 1, 2, 3. Do not draw a point. Okay? That's what screws a lot of you guys up. You're thinking, oh, I do the first thing, then put a point, then do the next thing, and then you're like, how do I draw my line? You don't draw the point until you finish the thing. It's going. So I'm going up 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, my denominator is a positive 2. So if I'm going the positive direction, that means I'm going to the right. 1, 2. And then you are drawing your point. Okay? A lot of you guys understand the rise over run, but you will go up 3, put a point, and then go over to the right 2, put a point, and then you're like, but my line is not straight, because you're not stopping to put a point. You're doing it the rise and the run point. Okay? Rise. 1, 2, 3, run. 1, 2, point. Okay? Now, you just need 2 points to be able to draw a straight line, or straight-ish line. So before, when we did with the intercepts, we were able to get the y-intercept. That's 0, -5. That's that point right here. But remember, for the x-intercept, we got a positive 3.3 continuous. That's right there. Okay, that's right there. But by using the rise over run, the y equals mx plus b, you can be a little more accurate. Okay, no problem. Motivated. All right. So this is how you're actually going to take it step by step. Helped you pass your pre-calc class? Awesome. Well, congrats. All right. Okay. So now, Sauce, you were asking me a question of if you wanted to do the ASVAB, would it be good for you to have a tutor? Now, when you have a tutor, and I'm a tutor, okay? So when you have a tutor, the first day, let me see if I can hide this so I can talk to you. There we go. So I'm going to go back to another one. So don't go running all over the place. But everyone needs to listen to this. As a tutor, I'm very transparent. Now, there's going to be some tutors that are like, yes, I can help you with the ASVAB, I can help you with the math because I know it. But then here's this thing. You guys have what's called a life. And you're trying, and especially now it's in the summer, like you're either the kids are always home all the time if you got kids, or if it's yourself. You want to go out with friends, you want to be outside because it's nice out. So now you got to conduct your life surrounded by another person's schedule. Some tutors will stop at 6 p.m. Some tutors, like my crazy self, I'm up, thank you so much, I'm up at mad hours because I have students, I'm in the East Coast and I have students in the West Coast. So like 2 nights ago, I had a client and I was tutoring at 11 o'clock at night because 11 o'clock my time is not 11 o'clock p.m. their time. And there were athletes, so they're trying to do, I think it was basketball or something, kind of camp or something was going on. So now you got to worry about someone's schedule. And then plus, with the concepts that you're getting with the tutoring, you're basically learning maybe one concept for an hour. Now, for that 1 hour, it just gets crazy because your brain can only hold so much information. And you're trying to make sure that you understand concepts. So, and then on top of it, you're paying, what, $45, $50. I charge $87 an hour. There's some people that I know charge $125 an hour. And the reason why there's so much variation is because every person in different states have different economic standards. That's why there's such a huge flux. So here's my thing. It all comes down to what's happening. But if you just need something like, hey, there's a particular area that I just can't get factoring, get a tutor, definitely. But if it's like, I need help with the whole thing, tutoring is going to be too immense. It's going to be too expensive. And at the same time, you're going to want to cancel. Because every time you're going to be like, oh yeah, let's go. And then your friends are like, oh, let's go out. You're going to want to go out instead of doing math. You can sit here and tell me different, but I know. Okay? So that's the reason why. Like, tutoring works about the arithmetic reasoning. And the arithmetic reasoning is just basically word problems. If you know how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, whole numbers, fractions, understand percents, know how to work, how to find the change of percentages, that's the bulk of it. And especially the age problems and the distance rate and time problems. They're going to be huge. And sometimes it's not the word problems. It's basically, can you pull the information out? As I keep saying, you can't read the word problems like you're reading a novel. Doesn't make sense. And some of the things are just really basic, like add them together. All right. My friends asked me to go out while I have two things due tonight. Guess who's going? Exactly. Right? So it really does come down to it. Okay? Now, That choice is going to be yours. If you want to start with the tutoring, you can start with the tutoring. But I'm going to tell you, so far, people are using my products, people are using my videos to help them. It's great that if you go to my YT channel, YTU channel, there's tons of videos on there. And the only reason why I don't push you guys to that is because there's no consistency. 1 minute I'm talking about slope, another minute I'm talking about combination and permutation, another minute I'm doing Pythagorean's theorem. There is no consistency. And because you want to get things done and get it done quickly, it's because you need clarity. You need, where do you start? So all of that is all situated. Okay? So we all need to get with basically the beginnings of it. What are the different types of numbers? What are fractions? What are decimals? How do you decimal? The way that you deal with decimals, adding and subtracting, is different from how you do it with multiplying and dividing. And what are the rules of exponents? And what are the rules that you have to deal with order of operations? So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So a lot of that comes into play. Okay? So I know you want to get past that 31. A lot of you guys do if you're trying to take the ASVAB. That's why I developed a lot of these books. And one of the other books that I actually did, ASVAB for Math Practice. I don't want you to jump into the math practice because it's probably the math portion that's screwing it all up. Yes, it's a whole bunch of word problems. Okay, there's some word problems in there, multiple choice. There's 3 quizzes, and of course I put another one in as a bonus where you can actually talk a little bit and do tidbits. Okay, and it's really like how to break all this stuff down. So instead of you, oh, let me get a whole bunch of word problems. Yeah, I need that. Because if you don't understand the problem itself, if you don't understand how to factor, if you don't understand about quadratic equations, linear equations, system of equations, graphing inequalities, then you're going to have problems. Okay? So we have to kind of get to the head of it, and you go at your pace, hence the name. Okay? Now, if you're serious, and this goes for everybody, if you're serious about, oh, I like to see more about your stuff, let me know. Put it in the chat right now, because I'll hold on my other problem. If you're serious and you want to see a lot of my products of what they are, or where can you get these things while you're still here, just put yes in the chat. Just put yes in the chat and I'll show you. Because where I have it is called the Stand Store. And I'll just show you exactly where everything is. Okay? Yep. So where to start? Okay. So Malcolm, I see you. Sauce, I see you. Okay. Got you that. Alright. Yes, you need some help. User 25. Alright. Got you. Yep. So this is like for GED. Now here's my thing, guys. Everyone thinks it's separate. GED math, ASVAB math, Accuplacer math, T's test, the early signs of math before the doses calculations. It's all the same math. All of it. Okay? Alright, cool. So I got that. So let me show you. So if you're like, yes, I just want it right here, right now, when you go to my profile, you click on my face, you go to my profile. Right here, on the tip of the pen, there's a link. Okay? When you click on that link, oops, my fingers are too big. When you click on the link, what will pop up is my Stand Store. Now, it gives you a little brief video, just kind of gives you a tour of what to look for. But this is one thing, if you're not sure where to start, I have a free skills check right here. This is free of charge. All you have to do is just click on it, put your emails in there, just in case I do something new, and then you can do and see where you're at. It's a combination of word problems and some naked math. If you're interested in all my systems, I have this summer starter. For those that are like, look, I really want to start and I want to start ASAP. This is where you can go for the summer starter. So I have a whole bunch of books. And each of the books have a video instruction. I have the individual books if you want that. I know some of you guys got excited with the ASVAB book. If you just want the ASVAB book, you can get the ASVAB book here as well. If you want the physical, and all those books are digital. If you want the physical books, you can only get it on the A. Okay? So then here's a whole bunch of resources. So you can have fun. But if you have questions, if this feels overwhelming, DM me the word math. Do it and do it now. Is it great for 8th graders? Yes. Anyone that's 7th grade, 8th grade that's going into algebra, 9th graders, people that are transitioning from 8th to 9th, this is exactly what you need. Okay, so now you got the time during the summer. All I'm asking is an hour a day. That's all I'm asking. And it depends on how far they want to get to it. And they have to want to do it. All right. So this is great for any type of math. And if you want, you're still interested in tutoring, you can come on an interest call and we'll just talk for 15 minutes to figure out what will be the best thing for you. All right. So all of this, if you want to go back again, this is the link in my profile. That's how you get to it. Just click on that link and it'll take you straight to the Stan Store. Okay? Now, if you want to talk further with it, please DM me the word math, M-A-T-H, if you're interested. If you have a question, I'd rather you ask a question before you buy. Okay? I want you to ask questions before you purchase anything. I care about you winning. I want you to win. I want you to get your freedom. But if you don't ask the questions, I'm not a mind reader. I'm not psychic. I'm psycho. There's a difference. Okay? Okay, so you need the physical books. You're working on saving towards the physical books. Okay, Brenda. But see, here's my thing, Miss Brenda. Don't let the whole concept of having a physical book, because all the information that's going on in these books is exactly the same that you get for digital. All you have to do is print out what you need to print out. Because when you're waiting for the physical book, you're waiting for all those concepts. Okay? And I know some people rather have a physical book, but you're going to have a physical book if you print out the pages. And then you put it in a binder, or you can put it in a folder, and that will be your folder. Okay? And you can get that right here, right now. And you don't have to wait for the A to deliver it, to make it, to deliver it, to send it to you. I don't know if you have Prime, yes or no, but sometimes that's another thing that we have to take care of. But isn't Prime Days coming up too? Ooh, might want to check on that. Might be something you might want to put on your list. All right, so let's take a gander. So what we just did, and we're going to go back. Let's go back to the math for a little bit. So again, follow me, send me a message. So what we did, we graphed a linear equation. You don't understand the ebook? Okay. Yep, it's a file, and all you have to do is print. Okay? All right? But I got you. So now, we're going to talk a little bit about inequalities. Okay? When you're graphing an inequality, just like anything in math, they give you these physical clues. The clues is the inequality sign itself. If they give you a less than or a greater than symbol, you're going to have a dashed line. Okay? If you have a less than or equal to or a greater than or equal to, it'll be a regular solid line. Knowing this information will help you eliminate so much. Okay? Now, when you are less than, which is this column here, you're going to shade below. Because it's less than. So you're going to shade below the line. Now, if it's greater than, or greater than or equal to, you're going to shade above. And it's called a boundary line. Okay? No, solid doesn't shade above. Greater than symbols shade above. Anything that's greater than, when something's greater than, it's more. So anything that's dealing with greater than or equal to. Any of these symbols, you're going to be shading above. If it's less than or equal to, you're going to shade below. If it's less than, it's usually low. It's below. Okay? So if it doesn't have a line underneath the inequality, you're going to draw a dashed line. If there is a line underneath the inequality symbols, you're going to shade or draw a solid line. Okay. All right. There we go. Thank you, stranger. All right, going. There you go. So you notice sometimes they might give you answer choices verbally, or they might actually show you some graphs. Okay, because we're also going to practice graphing this. All right. So because we knew this information over here, we could do process elimination. This has a line underneath the inequality. So that means I should be drawing a solid line. So anything that says dashed, they're not an option. Then it's greater than. If it's greater than, usually things are bigger. They're going to be above. So this says below, this one says above. That's why A is your answer. Hey, McTom, how are you? Okay, that's why A is your answer. So now I'm going to show you how to graph that. This, if it was an equation, take a look. Oops. See if I can get myself together here. Take a look. What do you notice? What do you notice? Just the two expressions. One's the equation, one's an inequality. What do you notice? Queen Anne. Hi, Queen Anne. How are you? Says it's the same. Do we agree with Queen Anne? Okay. We have 3x, 3x, negative 2y, negative 2y, 10, 10. Very much the same. Only difference, one is an equation, and equations always get solid lines. The other one's an inequality. Yup. There you go, Sauce. There you go. That's going to be what's different. But how we find our line is similar to what we did earlier. So I'm going to put it over here. So we have our 3x minus 2y is greater than or equal to 10. And I'm going to put this standard form into my slope-intercept form. So for those that are coming in a little bit later, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. But instead of an equal sign, we're dealing with the inequality. But how we solve it is exactly the same. So we're trying to get y by itself. So first thing, I want to move the 3x over to the other side. And this is a positive 3x. Okay, so we're going to subtract 3x on both sides. These are going to cancel out because one's positive, one's negative, so that will give me 0x, but I do not need that 0 as a placeholder. So I'm going to bring down my negative 2y, bring down my greater than or equal to, then I'm going to set this up so it's closely resembling my y equals mx plus b. So I have my negative 3x, and then my 10 is positive up here, so I'm going to say plus 10. So now I need to get y by itself. So I need to get rid of this negative 2. So since it says negative 2y, this means negative 2 times y. So I'm going to divide everything by a negative 2. Okay. So negative 2 divided by negative 2, that gives me a positive 1. So I got 1y, or just y. Here we have a negative divided by a negative, that gives me a positive, and leave it as a fraction because that is your slope. Okay, the coefficient of your x is always going to be your slope. Thank you, Jerry. There it is. So positive 10 divided by negative 2, we got a negative 5. So Jerry, why are we flipping that inequality sign? Because you notice I didn't write the inequality sign. It's not because I forgot it. But there is a special rule that comes in. Thank you, Jerry. Anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, that inequality sign always changes direction. So right here, we divided by a negative 2. So instead of greater than or equal to, it's going to be less than or equal to. That is part of the rule. See, here we just subtracted. So that's why the inequality sign didn't change. But anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to change the direction of the sign. This is what a lot of people forget, and this is the reason why, I don't want to say the reason why, I shouldn't say that, but this is one of the reasons why you're just close. It's those little concepts that adds on. How do I know? Anytime you get close and you're dividing by a negative, that's when you flip that direction of the sign. That's how you know. Anytime you multiply or you divide by a negative number, it could be at any point of the process, you have to change the direction of the sign. Majority of the time, they usually ends up being the very last part. Okay, we divide when we want to make a variable stand on itself or make it a subject. What happened? Okay, maybe that's a question for someone else. All right. So do you graph the inequality or no? Yes, we do. Yes, we will. Okay. So here's the question for you. Don't just go ahead and draw lines. What type of line am I going to draw for this equation? Solid or dashed? What type of line am I going to draw? What type of line are we going to draw? Solid or dashed? What type of line are we going to draw? Okay, so we got solid, not yet with the shading. Okay, so we got solid, we got two people with solids. Do we agree? Okay, what's dashed? Dotted or dashed? Okay. Hey, miss, how are you? Welcome back. Okay, saying solid. All right. Let me show you the key again, just in case you missed it. If you came a little bit later. Okay. If it's just less than or greater than, it's a dashed line. If it's equal to's, it's a solid line. Okay. Good, Red. All right. So we got ourselves a solid line. And which way would we shade? Which side are we going to shade up? No problem. So Red's saying we're going to shade above. Which way are we going to shade? Okay, someone earlier said, who said it earlier? Going Pro said shading down, so I remember seeing that earlier. Oh, thank you. With the finger pointing. All right, Queen Anne's saying below, Jerry's saying down. Oh, thanks, McTom. All right. So, it depends on our inequality. So as I recall here, anytime it is less than or equal to, you're going to shade below. Greater than or equal to, you're going to shade above. Now, let's plot our point. So where do I start? I'm starting at the y-intercept, which is at -5. So my point starts right here. Then my slope is telling me where to go. You see it, Red? Where to go. So I have to go from this point, I go up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. Then draw my point. Okay, I can go up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2 and draw my point. Okay. Now, since I know I'm drawing a solid line, all right, cool, let's do it. Draw a solid line through it. Now, since you have your boundary line, sometimes people get mixed up with the shading. So I like to do what's called a test. I can pick a point, and the easiest point that I would pick here is 0, 0. Because 0, 0 is on one side of the shaded side, and there's some other numbers on the other side. But I like 0, 0 because I can plug it into my equation. So if I want to test it, because some people get confused with the shading, I'm going to test it with point 0, 0, my origin. So that means I'm going to plug a 0 for the y. Don't let the fraction freak you out, because when I plug the 0 for the x, anything being multiplied by 0 is 0. So we're not really dealing with the fraction. Isn't that nice? And now we have 0 minus 5. Well, that gives me a -5. So now we have 0 is less than or equal to -5. Think of course, we're all human, Red, please. Think of the number line. All right? Think of the number line. Hey, Mel. We have 0 is less than or equal to -5. Is that a true statement? If you want, you can use this. Here's 0. Here's -5. Is 0 less than -5? Okay? Is 0 less than -5? Okay? All right, so I'm seeing the true. I'm seeing 0 is less than -5. I'm seeing true. I'm seeing true. Okay? Queen Anne is saying no. Okay? Let's think about it. From here on up, This is where all your large numbers, you're going all the way to positive infinity. From here and down, this is where all your small numbers are. You're going all the way to negative infinity. So if I'm comparing -5 and 0, 0 is closer to going into the direction of positive infinity than -5. For me to owe somebody $5 versus not owing anybody anything, I don't know about you, but this is greater. 0 is greater than -5, not less than. So this is a false statement. So since it's a false statement, that means I'm going to shade the side that doesn't include that 0.00 because that gave me a false statement. All right? So that means I should be shading the side that's on the other side of the boundary line. So all these points, notice I can't just pick one point. All these points that's on this side of the boundary line is going to give me a true statement. Okay? Even if I wanted to do 5, 0, if I plugged, well, that's going to be kind of crazy. It'd be like 15 halves. I don't want to do that one. If I do 4, 0, that'll be a lot better. If I do 3 halves of 4, that's going to give me 6. 6 minus 5, that gives me 1. And the y value of that is going to be 0. Is 0 less than or equal to 1? Yes. Some people are trying to say, oh, well, 0 is not, but it's not equal to -5. Okay? Yeah, and a lot of people get confused with it sometimes, and that's what it is. So that's why I take the time to teach this. Okay, so this one actually is Inequalities. I think that's my, yes. Okay, I actually teach that. That's my Inequalities, volume 5 and 6. Okay, so I talk about it as just a linear. Okay, just as if it was on a number line. So we go from a number line, then we talk about just solving. We also talk about compound inequalities, absolute values. Then I start doing some linear inequalities. Notice the progression. So I'm not just saying, oh, okay, here you go, start here. No, there is a progression, and that's what you guys need. It's not so much, well, consistency will be great, but you need 1, a starting point, 2, sequence, 3, practice, 4, reinforcement, and 5, an occasional support. Yes. Yes. Okay. So if I'm comparing between 0 and -5, 0 is larger than -5. Okay. All right. Okay. So if you are like, I like this, I want to see more practice of it, this is how you're going to do it. You can go to the link in my bio, or you can message me. I like to talk to people and see what their journey is, because you may not have to start from the very beginning. Okay? You might need just a little refresher. Some people might need a little bit more. Some people might need some more guidance. That's why I'm saying, if you are interested, make sure you DM me the word math. And as soon as this live is over, I'm checking my DMs, even if we're friends or not friends. I'm checking my DMs to make sure that you're okay. But if you are thought about going back to school, yeah, why not? Okay? But if you are really thinking about, like, look, I don't need a whole lot, I just want to get the books. Again, you can go to my profile. Go here where it says the Stan Store. Just click on that, and it'll take you directly to the Stan Store. Okay? And it'll give you all my details, because my descriptions, I'm very thorough with my descriptions. So like if I hit start, so this is for my summer starter system. If you just click on the button, it does not take you directly to a payment page. It gives you some direction. It gives you more information. Maybe this is what you need. What is that summer starter system? What is involved? So you can sit and take your time, read it through, okay? And then at the end, if you want to go ahead and purchase, you can, okay? There we go. All right? So you can. But it gives you all this information prior to you paying for it. Okay? I want you to be able to get this. Understanding these concepts. Hey, I'm old too. It's not just you. Okay? And if you just want a little mini tour, this is a quick 3-minute video which kind of gives you a tour and a little explanation. But if you want to, you can go ahead and click on this. This is the very first one, the stop spiraling. It'll tell you what exactly you're dealing with. Okay? This is what it is. You just fill in this information and then boom, you can download it for free. Alright? So if you're serious enough and you want to discuss a little bit further, DM me the word math. Or if you're just like, look, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to purchase, I got you, Audrey. You can go into my profile, see this one link, click on it, and it will take you right to it. My fingers are too big. Okay? Alright. Perfect. Yeah, we're not going to be doing 20K. I've mastered these concepts. Yeah, 22 years of being in the trenches. 22 lovely years. Okay? I was kind of reminiscing about it a couple days ago. That I've had, and a lot of people will always say that, oh, teaching, it's not a real profession. Well, it is. Okay, a lot of sacrificing, a lot of go through, a lot of seeing kids at different places, but there's some good and there's some bad, and it's not just classroom stuff. I've lost many. Right now for me, we haven't reached double digits, thank God, but we're at 9. I lost a lot of students to gun violence. I've lost students to 3 had a contract on their heads. 1 died of brain cancer. That was a long year. One of my favorites, he graduated and he was in a different state. Totally was about to graduate. Came home to celebrate with his friends to say, hey, I'm moving forward. One night hung out and all of a sudden they started spraying. A rival gang came and shot him in the back and he died in the street like a dog by himself. Another kid was a month away from graduating and went to a friend's house to study. Was going to his car, carjacking gone bad. But he didn't die alone. A neighbor at least was there to hold his hand. That is something that people don't talk about. Those are the things that when you're a teacher, I'm one of those teachers, I don't just come in, check in, and I check out. If you want to call me Mama Bear, you can call me Mama Bear. And it still sticks with me. And he's been gone. He left a month after my dad left. So it's going on 9 years. And it doesn't matter how old they are, you can still see their little baby faces. Even all the massive beards that some of them got. But you still see the baby face. And now you're starting to see some of them grow up with children. Just like you're the parent, that's how we feel. Because there's no statistics on how kids are when they graduate high school. There's no statistics. There's plenty of statistics of what happens with them in elementary and middle school and sometimes middle to high school. But once they get to high school, it's almost like, oh, they're old enough, no one cares. But we as the teachers, we care. So when they win, we win. And not just as my student. Like, there are times that I go through things and my students all of a sudden become the teacher to me. And that happens. And that's the reason why I stay up at nights worrying. Did I really do my kids justice? And I worry about you guys. Am I really doing what's best for you? But I know there's times it's hard because you have to make the decision, not me. Okay? Okay. So yes, it's true. You all can learn. And I know there's probably been friends and families that said different to you because they see you as the family screw up. Or they see you as, oh, you're never going to finish it. You always start something, you never finish it. You know how to shut them up? Finish. Do it. Do well. Graduate. Gloat. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be a challenge. It's not going to be easy. Do not believe all these people. Oh yeah, you can do this in like 3 weeks. It's easy. It's this. They are not you. That's why I made these books. So you can go at your pace, not their pace. Your pace may be a little bit slower, and that's fine. Because there's no time limit. There's a time on the test, but that's how they divide people. So just don't make that test a part of you. And that's what's happening. Don't make it a part of you. You're above this test. And the only way you can shut everybody up is to pass the damn thing. Okay? Regardless if you're going into high school, guess what? You're going to have a high school teacher that's either awesome or that's a pain in the butt. And they're going to be demanding. And guess what? No matter what you do, you can have your mama come to a meeting and all that stuff, but guess what? You're still the one that has to be in that classroom to deal with it. And the only way you can shut somebody up is to get it done. All right? So if you're serious about it, I dedicated a lot of time and a lot of energy because I say this to you guys individually and I mean it each and every time. I want you to win. I know how it feels. I'm still in the trenches of just trying to win, just trying to be successful. I have other tutors that will tell me, oh, Audrey, that's not really tutoring. I don't care. Or, oh, Audrey, yeah, that's all right. The books are cute. And I don't care. You know why I care? I care about, oh, you used to get like thousands of people's on your lives. Like, what happened? Gloating. You can gloat. But my thing is, I'm speaking to the people that really need me. I'm not speaking to the trolls. I'm not speaking to the teenager that's bored. I'm speaking to my 30 plus adults that are just like, I really want to win, Audrey. Can you help me? That's why I do it. Okay? Oh, good. Passed your praxis test. Awesome. Good. And your auntie was a mathematician. Awesome. Now remember, just because other family members were good at math doesn't necessarily, and that's the one thing, you put so much pressure on you that, oh, my aunt was a good mathematician or this person was a good mathematician, and I struggle. And you're like, why can't I be smart like my sister? Why can't I be smart? Because you're not your sister. You're not your sister, you're not your brother, you're not your mother, you're not your auntie, you're not your grandmother or grandfather. You're none of them. You are you. And if it takes a little extra time for you to understand it, so be it. Do not let anyone rush you. We all learn at different rates. And don't put yourself in a bind because this person, oh, they know how to do it really fast. Because there's times that people will shout out an answer. It'll be loud, confident, and wrong. Because everyone worries about the speed instead of the content itself. So don't put that added pressure on you. You be you. You have to figure how you are. Same thing I would tell my college students or my students that are thinking about going to college. Don't go to the college that your mother and father went to. Is that where you want to go? Is that the place where you feel comfortable? Just because that's how they built their legacy. Did their great-grandparents go? No, they didn't go to college. So why should you continue on the trend? Do you? Okay? Do you? All right. So I'm going to get myself together. So if you are serious and you need some assistance, make sure you DM me the word math Okay? Do it. The worst thing is we get to chat. That's the worst thing that's going to happen here. You know, it doesn't matter if you want to buy something right now, later, that's fine. But I really and truly, in order for us to keep these things going, you know, I have to figure out my business stuff. Okay? All right. Okay, everyone, I'm going to, if you're serious, go ahead and DM me the word math. I'm going to end this live, and I will see you guys tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. for more fun and entertainment. Take care.